whenever you're ready.
Go on.
Perfect pet. So looking at this picture, what do you know about this character before we even read the story? Ula?
I don't know. Maybe she wants like a lot of pets.
Maybe she wants a lot of pets. Read.
Maybe she has a pet that she doesn't like and she wants a different one.
So she has a pet she doesn't like. She wants a different one. Make sure you speak up, okay? Keegan?
Maybe she wants all different kinds of pets, like
What do you see in there?
dogs, rats, mice, fish.
How many of you can already relate to this character just by looking at the picture? How many of you enjoy pets or want a pet? All right. Go ahead and put your hands down. This is The Perfect Pet by Margie Palatini. Elizabeth really, really, really wanted a pet. Her parents really, really, really did not. They gave her a plant instead. Mind you, it was a very good-looking plant, as cactus plants go, and it had quite a prickly sense of humor. Elizabeth named it Carolyn, which seemed to suit it just fine. It was absolutely no trouble, and it was a very good listener. Snuggling was a bit of a challenge with the cactus. However, Elizabeth did manage a quick hug now and then. Elizabeth really, really did like the plant, but she really, really, really wanted a pet, and she had a plan. So I'm thinking right now, if she really wants a pet, she got a plant. How do you think she feels? You can even look at the face, her face right now, and see. The element of surprise. So how about a horse? Huh? What? Who? Said father. Who? What? Huh? Said mother. I could ride it, give it carrots, lumps of sugar. A horse would be the perfect pet. What do you say? Father yawned. Oh, horse is too big. Mother sighed. Say with me. Our yard is too small. Why, it would eat us out of house and home, said father. A horse is not quite perfect, dear, said mother. Not quite perfect, said father. Scratch the horse off your list. How do you suppose Elizabeth feels right now? Catch them off guard. What about a dog? Huh? What? Who? Said father, as he stood in front of the mirror shaving. Who? What? Huh? Said mother, peeking from behind a shower curtain, dripping with soapy water. I could take it for walks, teach it tricks, feed it treats, play fetch. A dog would be the perfect pet. What do you think? How many of you think that mother or father are going to come up with some kind of excuse? How many of you think they might say, okay, we'll do a dog? Let's see what happens. Father spit shaving cream. Dogs bark. They're much too loud. Mother grabbed a towel. They jump all over the furniture. A dog is not quite perfect, Elizabeth, said father as he shaved. Not quite perfect, said mother from the shower. Forget Fido. Has the character's feelings changed since the horse? Or seems about the same? The full stomach. You know what would hit the spot right about now, said Elizabeth. I'm thinking a cat. Huh? What? Who? Said father. Who? What? Huh? Said mother. A cat could lick the plates, curl up in my lap, drink leftover milk, and we'd always know what to do with all that extra string. A cat would be the perfect pet. So how about it? Father picked up the newspaper. Cats scratch. Mother cleared the table. Cat shed all over. A cat is definitely not the perfect pet, said father. Achoo! I'm sneezing already, said mother. Cross off kitty. So if you look at this picture, they have the cat wrapping string around the parents. Think about why the author would have that in there.
Because that's what that's.
Turn and tell your neighbor. Why would they have the cat?
She wanted to because the parents are exaggerating.
3, 2, 1. What do you guys think? Why do you think they have a picture of this? Sally, what would you say? Yeah. Why do they have the cat wrapping string around the parents?
Maybe that's the parents, what they're thinking, and they're just exaggerating so they can make up an excuse why not to have a cat.
So they're coming up with excuses. They're kind of picturing what they think in their head is going to happen. How is Elizabeth trying to solve her problem of wanting a pet? What is she doing to try to solve her problem? Turn and talk to your neighbor for a minute. Come on back. 3, 2, 1. I'd like to see some more conversations in this side of the room. Maddie, how is Elizabeth trying to solve her problem of wanting a pet?
She keeps asking, she has like this notepad, I think, and she lists all the pets that she wants, and she tries to make up things that why they should have a pet.
Yeah, if you look back in the story, she's saying they could get a cat because it could lick up the plates, it could curl up in your lap, it could drink leftover milk. Those are all good reasons to have a pet cat. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And then Mom and Dad say they scratch, they shed all over, they're sneezing already. Those would be bad reasons to have a cat. Do you agree? Let's see what she does next and see if it's similar. Go for broke. How about a bird? Bunny, turtle, fish, guinea pig, rat, any, all? Take your pick, said Elizabeth. Her parents looked at each other. Nope, afraid not. Not quite. Too fishy. Uh-huh. Don't even go there. What's left, moaned Elizabeth. Right now, this part of the story, I want you to write down a few words that describe Elizabeth. How would you describe her as a character? Just write down a few words of it. Once you have 2 or 3 words written down, I want you to share those words with your reading buddy. Bless you, or somebody close to you. 2 or 3 words that describe Elizabeth. Think about what she's been doing in the story so far, even though her parents are coming up with a reason.
Honey, silly boy.
2 or 3 words, and then share with your buddy. I hear persistent, I hear she's funny, kind of silly, trying to come up with reasons. Some of you I hear sad. Alright, come on back. 3, 2. Let's find out how she solves her problem. Doug. Elizabeth was thinking she would never ever find the really, really, really perfect pet when, what do you know, she really did. In fact, she almost stepped on it. Right there on her rug. A bug. Elizabeth picked him up. She held him in her hand and she looked him in the eyes. He wasn't too big. He most definitely wasn't too loud. He couldn't jump on the furniture. He didn't scratch. He didn't shed. And how much food could he possibly eat? He was the perfect pet. Carolyn totally agreed. Who's Carolyn? The plant. How many of you think that Mom and Dad are going to be okay with the bug? Look around. Would you say almost most of us? How many think Mom and Dad will still come up with an excuse about the bug? Okay, let's see what happens. Snug. Doug moved in right next to the lovely house in the corner of Elizabeth's room. It had everything a bug could possibly want and more, including his very own cactus plant. As Carolyn was only a hop, skip, and a jump away, he truly enjoyed sunning himself in the sand. I'm noticing this could have been based on a true story, but now could it be based on a true story? Who can tell me why? Ashley?
Because the bug.
Try it. The bug what?
The bug is like
Yes. The bug's taking on like people characteristics. Of course, Elizabeth provided him with enough crumbs to satisfy any growing bug's appetite. As expected, their relationship was a tad different than usual. Doug could not give Elizabeth a pony ride. She could not take him for a walk. He could not catch a ball or fetch no matter how many times they practiced. And try as he might, Doug just couldn't get the hang of playing with string. But he was very helpful with homework. He always knew where to put a decimal or a period. Think about how small he is. Think about how small a decimal or a period is. And he loved snuggling with Elizabeth each night for a story. What more could you ask? He was perfect. You see him there in the book? And look at the title of the book. What's that book called, Curtis?
Alright, the bug's on me.
and jot. How is Elizabeth's personality changing? Draw a quick sketch, write a few notes. As a character, how has she changed from the beginning of the story? Just looking at this illustration, can you make a quick prediction in your head on what Mom's reaction is going to be? You see her face? Unsnugged. With all those crumbs and plenty of sun, Doug grew by leaps and bounds. He was one big healthy bug, and then some. The only trouble really came one Saturday morning, many weeks later, as Elizabeth's mother came into the bedroom to get the laundry, and "There's a bug in that bed," she screamed. "A bug," shouted Father, ready to swat. "That's Doug," said Elizabeth very protectively. "He's my pet." Her parents looked at each other. "Pet?" "Pet," said Elizabeth, "just like you wanted. He's not big like a horse. He isn't loud like a dog. He doesn't jump on furniture. He doesn't scratch. He doesn't shed. And he hardly eats a thing." "But a bug?" asked Father. "A bug?" asked Mother. "His name's Doug," said Elizabeth, "and he's perfect. One big happy family." "Think we should have said yes to the dog," whispered Father to Mother. Mother shrugged. "I don't know. We have more room on the couch with the bug." Elizabeth smiled and tossed Doug a piece of popcorn. Write down at the very end your closing thoughts about your character. How did she feel at the end of the story? Maybe even jot down how Doug felt or Mom and Dad felt. Writing down your closing thoughts on Elizabeth, I want you to draw a line across or turn to the next page. And I have two quick questions I want you to write down. I would suggest leaving some space underneath number 1 for you to answer. Question 1 says, what is going on around your character? Question 2, how does your character change throughout the story? Leave some space during independent reading time today. You're going to be responsible for answering number 1 and answering number 2.
So we're not answering it right now?
No, you're just writing the question. What is going on around your character? Number 2, how does your character change throughout the story? And I will leave these 2 questions up for you today during independent time.
I don't want to write number 2 yet because I don't know how much I'm going to write.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it up there. Make sure you put a question mark at the end, capitalize the beginning of the question. I'm going to have you stop so I give you your directions in about 1 more minute.